everyone. Everybody sign in? Okay. Abby Morrissette, when did you graduate again? 2022. Abby has quite a journey from Fredonia to where she is at now, and I will tell you right now, Abby was one of the outstanding students of the program. She essentially went above and beyond the call of duty in the student record label and the music marketing class. She helped revive the dog walk, and she just did an excellent job. So I'd like to introduce Abby Morrissette.
Okay. Last time I was up here, I was just yelling at a bunch of my classmates, pretty much. Hi guys, I'm Abby. I graduated in May of 2022. I decided to do music industry instead of performance, and I found, that's really bright, and I found Fredonia for that, and Fredonia is one of, I think, only 3 state schools that actually have a music business program, and if anybody's getting that Excelsior scholarship, you know you got to go to a state school. So it saves you a ton of money. And this was the best one. And I think I made the right choice. And since then, I moved back home. I worked for a luxury real estate staging company for 3 months. Hated it, but it was a job. Needed a job. And then I got a job in the repertoire department at ASCAP. Which was pretty cool because we learned about that in class, like pretty early on. We learned about PROs and whatnot. And then most recently in April, I left ASCAP and I moved to Warner Music Group in their royalties department. Yeah, I guess I will get started with this. Can it still see me over here? Okay. This is really intimidating. Also, I'm not going to bite anybody's head off. If you want to giggle, you can giggle. Okay, so my journey in the music industry from Fredonia to ASCAP to Warner Music Group. Abby Morrissette. I am not related to Alanis Morissette. She spells it differently. So this is just what this is my journey at Fredonia. This is an outline. I'll expand on things. I started in August of 2018. Freshman year. Who's a freshman in here? Who is a sophomore? Junior? Senior? Oh yeah, I like that. Freshman year blows. It always kind of blows. Not the classes. The classes really get you into it, but you have to find your friend group, and often it takes until sophomore year, and it was tough. I could not figure out, my friends for a while. I clung on to the first people I could find. Those were not the right people. And shortly after that, I questioned everything I was doing, which is completely normal. I thought, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? I'm losing my artwork and who I am and everything. I've been a singer my entire life. And I was pursuing a lot of jazz singing. I joined the vocal jazz group. If any of you are interested in singing jazz at the school, let me know, because I got Dr. Nick Weiser in my back pocket. So the vocal jazz group is a really, really great way to get performance in here. I switched to jazz performance, and I was the only jazz performance singer at the school. And then I realized, yet again, which I should have remembered from high school, I want a paycheck very badly. And that is not going to get it for me. At least with where I was at, and my passion for it was not going to, put food on the table. So I switched back. And also because I missed all my friends, I just found that music industry was a lot more relaxed than the School of Music. The School of Music can be its own thing. And it wasn't quite what I was looking for in Fredonia. And then, who's doing their internship right now? Oh my God. Okay. So internships we all have to do them at some point, at least if you're in the music industry major, that's a requirement. Or at least it was when I was here. still is. And I was already helping out in the jazz department pretty much full time. Anytime I wasn't doing something, I was like on the floor sorting through 50 years worth of sheet music. So I became the admin assistant and I interned with the jazz department, and that counted towards my intern credit. And I wrote those logs all the time and somehow had to summarize everything I was doing, but I did it. And then once senior year came, I still continued with the jazz stuff into senior year. Once senior year came, I had brought a band to class. My buddies from high school were in this really funky band. And then, as musicians do, they just fell off the face of the earth. And that was pretty inconvenient because they were supposed to be my band. So I decided I needed to do something. I needed to take some sort of initiative. And I decided to take charge of the dog walk with my lovely friend, Natalie Wilkes, who's sitting right there. And hi, Jessica. And we knew that the dog walk the year prior was pretty tough. What was that? That was 21. That was our first full school year, like in COVID. And they had to make it work with how they did. So they did like a Twitch stream, and it went as well as it could have gone. It probably didn't have as much reach as it could have, but you know, things happen. We couldn't have performers. There couldn't really be dogs beyond pictures of them, and you can only do so much with that. So we had the fun idea of all year, as much as we could, starting mini events. Has any mini events happened yet? Are there any planned yet? That is amazing, and that warms my itty bitty little heart. What were our mini events? We had board game night. We had a rock and brews. We had the Sunnies night, and we had the run. We had the 5K. The 5K. And we let our friend Augie take that over because he was very into marathons and running and everything. And those brought in a lot of money for the dog walk. Instead of starting with nothing and just begging local businesses to give you things, you actually had something to start with. And then on top of that, we generously asked from places like Ollie's and Big Lots and Home Depot for donations and whatnot. And they very graciously did. And we booked local performers. We had Beach Tower, we had Jacob King, we had Hallie and her group, and a bunch of local donations come in that made it a lot bigger of an event. We tried to just get as much volume as we could in it. I'm just telling you that I know you've probably heard all this before from somebody, but when you guys eventually get to your dog walk, and for those that are on the dog walk right now, I know you're in here, it is a tough road. And if you think you can step up to be executive director, do it. It is a great idea because it teaches you a lot. And then I did the vocal jazz group for all 4 years, and I basically TA'd for it for a long time. It got to a point where I wasn't really allowed to leave, but that happens. Okay. So on to the more exciting stuff, because nobody needs to super know what I did. A big piece of advice I will give you, and I have a little advice slide at the end. Do not be without a job. It is really, really important, especially today. Do not be without a job. The job market it is abnormal. It's not going to be like this forever, but it is abnormal that it is like this, and it is the worst it has been in quite a long time. What with the influx of AI and also just corporate greed, it is really tough to get a gig. I was lucky enough that with the exec assistant, like the admin assistant experience I had, and with the dog walk experience I had, and just the general experience I had, I was able to secure a exec assistant to a CEO of a staging company. If you don't know what that is, that's like when they show an apartment and it already has furniture in it and it looks like somebody's living there. Nobody's living there. It's somebody designing the whole thing. And I had to help that lady. And I hated it more than any job I've ever had in my entire life. But it was still a job, and it was still work experience, and it was still something that provided me a very valuable perspective on things. I was meeting people, I was making chump change compared to the real estate people that I was working with and the people that were renting out the apartments. I was seeing all this money around me, and I'm like, why am I stuck in this exec assistant position for these people who make triple what I do? The very last loft that we worked on, like this beautiful 3-story whatever, was going to be shown to Rihanna. And I'm like, well, why am I sitting here making pennies compared to like the couch that I'm buying is like 4 of my paychecks put together. So I had to get out, and I was really lucky with timing. And that's when I got my first job at ASCAP. Does anybody know what repertoire is? You learned this in MUSB 101, which might have been a long time ago. Okay. That's okay. I'm not making this a class. I was a repertory analyst, which means I worked face-to-face with publishing companies, labels, managers, and artists themselves in a customer service type of role. Hold on. This is why I didn't want to have a microphone. Making what? Yeah, I'm drinking straight tequila. Okay, I started at that was a hybrid position. It was still kind of coming out of COVID. I only had to go in the office once every 2 weeks. That changed when things got more lax. And I was a dungeon person, pretty much. I sat in front of a computer for 8 hours a day and uploaded so much information, it felt like my eyes were bleeding, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was, I do have another slide about what helped me get these jobs, by the way. I'm just explaining the jobs. It was a system where artists or publishers, like a bunch of big publishers, would submit for their artists, and they would submit like, this is a new track, this is the percentage, this, that, and the other thing. And, oh, actually, no, owns this track, but thinks they own it. And then it's a whole legal thing, which your class comes in handy for. And then it was a whole like negotiating thing, which your classes come in hand for. And I always had to figure out when to take a step back and let companies argue themselves, but also how to be cordial and talk in that professional yet chill manner so you don't come off insane. This is another piece of advice. Don't be somewhere that doesn't agree with you. If you are constantly feeling tired, if you are constantly feeling ill, if you are constantly feeling depressed, yes, it can be a lot of other environmental factors, but also you might just need to move. I moved, and I feel significantly better. I know that's a lot easier said than done. I'm also a lot further down the line. I'm older than, I think, everybody. So it's easy. You'll get to that point. Please don't get discouraged about the job market right now. It is not always you, and it is not always your resume. It is not always whatever, like other circumstances. Sometimes it is luck. It is your circumstances. But often it's a matter of luck a lot of the time right now, which is why it's good to be still getting your education right now, giving the job market some time to heal. And everybody was really sad that I was leaving. And then a bunch of people that I didn't know that seemed to think they were my friends were saying goodbye to me on my last day, and I'd never met them before in my life. Somebody bought me a beer, though, so that was nice. But besides that, I did not really take any time off. I quit ASCAP on a Friday, and I started Warner on a Monday. And if you can't handle that, that's okay. You're allowed to give yourself more rest time in between start dates. That's fine. I just am crazy. So now I have been at Warner Music Group since April 2024. doing something completely different than what I was doing before. I thought the ASCAP job was hard. Oh, mama, it is not. The Warner Music Group job is significantly harder. We're learning about, and this is something, if you guys are interested, come up and ask me about afterwards. There are specific systems that companies use. Can't really disclose like all that information, but there are specific systems that companies create themselves and license. And if you can get some information from a connection you have, like on being slightly familiar with any type of system like that, doesn't have to be the exact one, it will help you. Know what they use. And for the love of God, learn how to use Microsoft Excel. They use it everywhere. I still don't know how to copy a row, but that's not really my problem. I just asked my coworker. Okay. So that's where I've been for the last 6 months. The things that help me the most, there is also another slide about it. Retain a key set of skills. What are you good at? You don't have to be great at everything. You can just be really good at one thing and you can capitalize on that. I cannot market for I don't want to curse on this, but I cannot market for a really bad word. I can't market at all. I suck at it. I don't know how to make an Instagram post engaging whatsoever. And it was quite apparent anytime I did that at the exec job, I got yelled at. It was really bad. But if you're great at marketing, that is something to capitalize on, and that is something to stretch out among multiple points in your resume. Your resume is super, super important. I was good at governing myself and inputting information and doing things like that, and that's why I was the executive director, and that's why I've been doing a lot of analyst stuff. That's what I'm good at, and that's what I like. So take the things you do the best, not everything you learned, because there's some stuff that I learned that I don't remember even a little bit. And have a short but sweet resume. If your resume is 2 pages, it's too long. If it even spills onto a second page, it's too long. If it's two-sided, it's too long. You want 4 references. You want probably 4 references. And hiring managers don't like to read. Don't make it wordy. Make it simple. Do bullet points. Do words. And AI will reject you. Don't make it too wordy. 1 million companies are putting their resumes, any submissions they get through AI right now, and it will reject you within minutes. Nobody looked at it. It is an AI rejecting you. So be wary of that. And don't use AI. It's evil. Okay. Oh my God, I'm talking so much. This is more than I've ever talked in like a month. Okay. So, but the most important things that got me the job at ASCAP, because you have to know intellectual property like the back of your hand, were your classes. Copyrights, contracts, and intellectual property knowledge. That is really important, and it is very, very useful to know, especially copyrights. But all of them are really important. If you can negotiate a contract, you can pretty much go into any area of business. If you want to go into tech, you can do that. Tech needs contracts. And mentioning pre and post 1978 got me the job at ASCAP, because I think I scared the crap out of them by saying that, because I don't think anybody had said that before. It's not really the most interesting thing, but it got me the job, I guess. Connections. Do not hide in your dorm room. I liked to hide in my apartment senior year a lot. And I lived by myself, so nobody could bother me. Don't hide in your dorm room. Don't hide in your headphones. Sorry, if anybody's wearing headphones right now, I'm not calling you out. Don't hide in your book, even though I love to read. You need connections. You need to talk to people. You need to be easy to work with. You can assert yourself, but you cannot be a problem. And there were people that were problems, and we remember them very vividly. And also, like, having connections with your professors, such as my two faves right here. I had Dr. Nick Weiser under my belt from working for the jazz department for so long, and then also a couple former managers from previous jobs. Like I worked at American Eagle. I had her under my job. I had under my belt. It is not worth changing the trajectory of your life for a job. As much as I say don't be without a job, it is not worth changing your life for a job. Everybody got that? That's really important. Your job is not your life. It is important. You need to eat. But it is not your life, and it is not your core being. Unless you're like an animator and you want to do fun art stuff, then that is who you are. But whatever, I'm not an animator. Leadership roles. Okay, it was such a pain in the butt making the dog walk. I wanted to rip my hair out of my head like every 20 minutes. It was so awful because I had to deal with so many people who did not care at all. And they kept coming to class every day, even though they didn't care. So leadership roles such as coordinating the dog walk. I'm serious, it's actually a lot of fun. And I just said I want to rip my hair out. It's not that much fun, but it's good, it's helpful, and it can be fun if you do it right. Working with others, even when I didn't want to. Making difficult choices and bending the rules a bit, but not quite breaking them. The backflips I had to do to get a PA system for free at the dog walk, I should have been in like Cirque du Soleil. I was, oh my God. A PA system for a concert. What a novel concept to have. Making difficult choices. That will connect to that. Creativity. Many events had never been done before. All that was happening was marketing all year for the dog walk. And that was happening before, even with a really successful one. Has he told you about Star Paws yet? Has anybody heard about Star Paws? Yeah. Those people on the record label, you've heard of Star Paws. I know you have, because I heard about it a lot. Even one as successful as Star Paws, which was forever ago. I think that was like 2016 or something. No, 2018. It was just like advertising all year. There wasn't much actually going on prior to the dog walk, which led to less money being raised, less this, that, and the other thing. Mini events, just coming up with something like that, which I'm so glad you guys are still doing. That makes me really happy. It's a great idea. You can make a ton of money, and if you schmooze enough people, you can make a ton of money without losing any money. Advertising promos, I didn't do that because I don't know how to advertise. I made Carolyn do that a lot because I didn't want to do that at all. Themes, we had our helpful theme officer over here. We did 80s movies dog walk. I don't really watch movies, but I ran with it. And it worked out pretty well. And entertainment, you gotta know bands, you gotta know people. Don't always let all the same bands play all the time, let other people have exposure, but know people who can make music live. It's a great idea. Confidence. Being a woman kind of sucked the whole time in this thing because a lot of the people that were hard to work with were boys that did not have a lot of respect for me and said I was nagging a lot. I got an A in the class, so I don't know if I was nagging or just doing my job, but I had to navigate that. And if anybody knows Euphoria, the quote that nobody knows, that's the thing about confidence, nobody knows if it's real or not. That's true. I kind of had to fake it till I made it the whole time, even when people were really pissing me off. Being the bigger person and finding where I belong. I was going through a ton of stuff in college, separate, like just personal stuff. In my own life, in interacting with people, there were a lot of, there's going to be problems on campus. There will be people that don't like you for no reason. And I dealt with a couple of people like that for a long time and had to get them off my back. And I'm all the better for it. And then finding where I belong, which took a ton of time, but I have my best friends in the entire world. One of them's way back there, but I have my best friends in the entire world here that I found through our shared dog walk transgressions. And then learning different people and how they work, and accountability. Don't lie. If you did something wrong, own up to it. The minute you lie, you lose any chance at somebody respecting you. Don't lie. and then learning different people and how they work. What I mean by that is like working with others, difficult choices. When we had the Sunnies event, a little birdie told me that somebody was planning on getting so drunk. And I'm like, that's great. That's not, that's gonna sound like crap. So I had to very gently confront in front of class that, any other time you're at Sunny's, go nuts, go wild, get a pink Whitney, whatever. But if you are representing Hale, and you're representing the dog walk stuff that we're working really, really hard at, and you are handing out tickets to people, you cannot poorly represent whoever you're representing. It will reflect on you, it will reflect on the organization. That transfers into your professional life. Do not post crazy things. It will come back to haunt you in a job hunt. I promise you. They see every single Twitter post. They see your Tumblr from when you were 12. They see everything because it's attached to your email. Everything is out there. And when you open your mouth and say, I'm going to get so drunk at a Hale event, when you're part of Hale and supposed to be DJing, that's a problem. You have to learn how to conduct yourself in a professional manner. It's school, but you're learning how to be professional after school. Oh my God, my throat. Okay. So this is, everybody just read this for a sec, because I need a second. Well, also just read it. Give you like 30 seconds. It's important. Okay. I hope you all read it. This is just stuff that I took away from college. This is the most important things that I learned, that I govern myself every day with. And it's how I've been able to stay out of debt, always keep a job. I have not been without a job since junior year of college. To have my own life, but also have a decent work-life balance and not slack. Have a good resume, have a good relationship, have good friendships, have just a great, I feel like I'm really thriving in my life. It's because of this. You are in this for yourself. You can have friends, you can be nice to your friends, but you are paying for this degree so that you succeed. Do not make yourself smaller for other people. They will take your spot. That's the most important part. It's okay to be selfish because you're here for you. That's extremely important. And you have time. If you're a sophomore and you're flipping out because you don't have your internship figured out yet, you got time. There's tools to work with that. If you're a senior and you're about to graduate, you don't have a job lined up yet, there's time. You have time. You are so young and little, even if you're not little. There's so much of your life ahead of you. You have plenty of time. I'm just crazy and can't stop working. So that's my own problem. But I have my entire career ahead of me. I could change my career. I'm gonna move into A&R in a couple of years. You have so much time, I promise you. A good resume goes a long way, but do not fall victim to scams from the ones that say, we'll design your resume and it'll be perfect for what you're looking for. Go to the Career Center, get a resume for free, and then tweak it from there. Ask other people. Ask people who have jobs that you know. Don't use those. They're bull. Or mistreatment. If somebody's mistreating you, report it, deal with it, address it. Do not push it under the rug. It will come back to bite you. And be the bigger person about it. Okay. Navigating the job market is also a skill in itself right now. I cannot emphasize to you how bad it is and how lucky you are to be in school right now. It is so bad. And then general life advice. Do not be without a job, please. I want you all to do so well because, well, you deserve to, but also to bring glory to this program, I guess. And don't be without a passion. Don't just sit and consume. Find something you love that you want. You can capitalize on it, or it could just enrich your soul. Find something like that. You need to be with a passion to makes your brain all wrinkly and your heart all swollen. Something like that. Take care of yourself physically and emotionally. Don't have more than 400 milligrams of caffeine a day. You will have a migraine. Don't show up to class without at least like a banana in your stomach. You will fail your final. It's take care of yourself. Wash your face. Take a shower. Go on a walk. Do whatever you need to do to feel 100%. And if you're not feeling emotionally 100%, address it. It does not help to ignore how you're feeling. I promise we're almost at the end of this presentation. And then questions can happen. You need to be 100% before you can do 50% and do it well. And that's one thing. Oh, I missed that one. If you're going to do something, do it well. Do not half-ass anything. They will know you half-assed it, and it will reflect negatively on you. If that means doing a little less, like if you're doing 8 things and you have to do them 60, 70%, do 4 things and do them 100%. If you're going to do something, do it well. Because you want to look good. You want to do good things.
All right. Abby, thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be.
Also would like to know, I think Jessica's in the back. And now, yes, and so some friends have come to see you. We will be posting this, and for you to look at again. Abby gave some amazing information here, so please take a lot of that with you. Thank you for coming.